how to use a bolt from the blue to supersize and grow your business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and our idiom today is another one I really have never heard. I don't consciously remember ever hearing or reading or seeing this, although I understand what it means. Of course, once we hear the meaning of some of these idioms, we're like, oh, I've experienced that. I have a lot of experience with that, but I've never heard it described as a bolt from the blue. So what the heck is a bolt from the blue? What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how can we use it in our businesses today, right now? Guess what? Almost all of us have experienced a bolt from the blue in the much recent past, right? In the very recent past. COVID-19, I would consider, for the majority of human beings on this planet, has been a bolt from the blue, meaning it's something shocking, sudden, and unexpected that happens in our lives or in our experiences. This is actually an idiom for the early 1800s. You can imagine you're sailing around, you're walking around, you're riding your horse back in the 1800s, or you're driving around in your car, and the sky's beautiful, the sun is shining, and right in front of you, a bolt of lightning shoots out of the sky and crashes on the ground in front of you. Imagine the shock and the surprise because of the unexpected event of this bolt of lightning coming from a clear blue sky. A clear blue sky is actually a related idiom, and we talked about it like 290 days ago, almost 300 days ago. We talked about the idiom out of a clear blue sky. And that's also a sudden event, but out of a clear blue sky, I've heard of that one, I've used that one. It has more positive connotations than bolt from the blue. Seems to be more associated with bad news coming, or bad events happening. And it depends which side of the fence you're on with COVID-19, whether you consider it a bad, has it affected your life in a negative way, or has it affected your life in a positive way? Believe it or not, there are a lot of businesses that are smiling because they have absolutely exploded during COVID-19. There's a lot more business owners that are freaking out and massively changing and pivoting and running to keep up with the changes that they need to make to ensure that their business will survive this particular pandemic. Just like many of us are making changes in our personal lives and in our physical lives and in our separation, our well-being, our relationships, everything. So just like everything, though, there's positives and there's negatives of everything that happens. I think the key to handling bolts from the blue for our business is realizing that they're going to happen. As unexpected and uncertain as things are, we can be 100% certain that during the life and the course of our business and our lives as well, stuff's gonna happen, right? If we don't expect things to happen, if we're never prepared, then we're gonna be at a disadvantage. That's why we have contingency plans for our businesses. That's why we have insurance. That's why we have what if scenarios. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if there's a flood? Acts of God's, accidents or nature, big storms, accidents, mistakes, they're gonna happen. They're gonna occur in our business. And part of why we have a business and why we exist is to solve problems, not only for the people that we serve, but for our own organizations, for our businesses as well. The key is to be flexible and to be open and to be human and realize that things are gonna happen, and it's up to us to decide how we're gonna respond to that, what we're gonna do in the face of the unexpected. COVID-19 is one that, it's a great example because almost all of us have been impacted by it. But each and every one of us on an individual basis have experienced a lot of other things that could be considered bolts from the blue. I would call my divorce a bolt from the blue. Shouldn't have been a shocker and a surprise to me, but it was because I was one of those people that believed I would get married and I would stay married for my entire life. Didn't work out that way. Bolt from the blue. Loss of big customers or big accounts, or if something bad happens to one of your vendors, that's a bolt from the blue. One of my vendors in the Italian food manufacturing business, one of my key vendors that I'd been with for years, committed suicide, and that caused ramifications not only in my business but in other businesses as well, as well as his family. So we never know. I could not have predicted that. I would never have expected that from this particular individual. So that was definitely a bolt from the blue. I would love to know if you've had things like that happen in your business, in your life, and in your experience, and what did you do to handle it? Because it's not so much about they're going to happen, it's what are we going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? And the truth is, we can be prepared, we can have our contingency plans, but things like COVID-19 are going to happen, and we will not have had every little detail, every little possibility considered and thought out. So we have to be willing to be flexible and open and roll with what we need to do to change and pivot and to respond to, in a positive, long-term, for our business way, what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. Without freaking out and going all crazy about, oh my God, life is over, my business is going to die because of this particular thing. You know what? It may, but then guess what? You'll do something else. And maybe COVID in some instances is a quick blessing, because otherwise, like me, you would spend 20 years in the wrong thing, going down the wrong path in the wrong business, only to discover that you are in the wrong path. Sometimes things happen for a reason we don't understand at the time, but the reason becomes clear as we look for the answers and we move forward in our lives. So that's our bolt from the blue today. I'd love to know your experience with this idiom. If you have any, or if you're like me, you're like, gosh, I've never really heard of that. I don't recall hearing it. Maybe I've seen it in a movie or a show or something, but it's not something that I personally said or used. Oh, that was a bolt from the blue. You know, I would just say, well, that was unexpected. That was a shock. That was a surprise. Or I would probably say WTF or something like that. That's more me. Anyway, have an amazing day. If I can help you in any way, hit me up in the comments below. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how might you apply it to your business right now?